Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping King. Today I'm sharing an 11 by 8.5 layout using my Kit Conspiracy kit. I also have a sketch from the Cherry Challenge over on a cherry on top, and I need to get that up today, so this is my layout for today. I have two photos that are way older photos. I believe my son's two, maybe three, gonna be three probably, because my little nephew that's sitting there is probably almost one. So, yeah, give or take, he's about 3 years old. And this is my little sister sitting with him also, and they're just sitting on my mom's front porch. So I have a few little embellishments that I pulled out. Using that sketch, there's circles in the background, so that's what I was going for when I was looking for embellishments, was little items that I could put in the circles. So that's what I picked out was there are little circles that have words in them like remember, captured, the best, remember, and memories, I think, is one of the other ones. There's five in total. I believe there's a few more still left in the package, but I did pull out five. And then I pulled out little leaves and branches that I could place also on those circles. And then I also pulled out some pieces that I would be able to do my title with and a cluster. I loved this paper here that had like a little space for a photo. I'm going to kind of change my placement of the photo in the sketch, but sketches are always a jumping off point. But the main point that I was pulling was the circles. I really liked the circles in the background, and I love this plaid paper. Spoiler alert, it doesn't make it to the layout, but the green in the flowers definitely do. And then I'll have blue and yellow, and the polka dot yellow one is also going to make it on the layout. Those stickers from American Crafts, I'm going to use part as my title. I thought I was going to use the rub-ons from 49 and Market, the letters, but they're actually too big, so I end up not using those. I do use one almost entire rub-on sheet in the background, and that just adds a little bit of detail in the background. And I'm going to use this cool mixed media looking background, and pretty much it's almost a solid, but that's going to be my background. I did cut off the border strip, and I'm going to place it right across the middle. That is not in the sketch, but I'm going to add that to my layout. So as you can see, they have two photos, different sizes. One's a square, one's a 4x6. And mine are going to be a little bit smaller than that because, one, I have to cut them down because of where they're sitting in the photo anyways. And I really like the way that it looks. I cut it down small enough to actually fit right over those three circles that you can see I punched out to add on the layout. And right now I'm adding rub-ons in the background that were like, they're black, but they almost look like stamped images. So I'm going to add those to the background. And I just sped that up because I just went around and added those all over in the background, kind of keeping an eye of where I was going to go the circles or put the circles at. I already knew where they were going to go. So I wanted to make sure I didn't like totally cover the entire background because I'm going to have a lot of circles. But I think the rub-ons really add a nice little detail in the background and they peek out. So here I'm adding a couple of different little tags to the corner of the photo. One of them already has the doodlebug letters on it that says cousins. And then I'm going to cut this little acetate branch off just because I don't want it peeking out from behind the photo, or down by the title actually. It's going to peek out from behind the photo on the top part, but not down at the bottom. And then this little compass, I actually originally had placed it over the admit one. Instead, I put it up top, and I had already cut it when I realized I shouldn't have cut it, but it's okay. I like where it looks, or I like the way that it looks, so it's okay. I'm going to add the photo down now, and it is matted on just white cardstock. I was rubbing something off the photo. I'm going to add a little label here at the bottom of this photo and then place this photo on the other piece of paper. That's the same paper I just tore the the image out of the frame, and then this one here I was able to match the little photo with the leftover piece. And then I'm popping up the the right hand side of the photo since it's going to be hanging off. I didn't want to pop it up too much, so I used the what is like 1 millimeter foam tape, so it's very small. And then all the circles I already have laying over here to the right hand side, but they're not put together just yet. I'm going to replace them back down with you on screen just because I was very strategic of where I placed them at. I was trying to pick the right spot, and I played with them for quite a bit. But I did in the end. I end up liking where I placed all of them, and there is a reason where I placed one color or another color, and basically each color is going to make a triangle. So that's why you'll see here in a minute. I'll go and move a couple of the colors around, and it's going to make a difference because you're going to see the triangle. So there I took out the blue one and I put a green one instead, because now you can see the triangle of the green. And then the blue, you can't really see the triangle just yet because I had to place that one there. I did put tree rings on a couple of the solid ones. I only had 3 tree rings, but one of them was a little bit bigger than the other ones, so I only used the 2. And they're going to kind of go tucked in, so you're not going to be able to tell that they're not a full tree ring, but I did want those on the layout also, so I went ahead and did those. And then now I'm popping up the little circles in the middle of the circles with again the 1 millimeter foam tape, so they're just popped up just slightly. And then I put little butterflies on a couple of the circles, and then I also put the little chipmunk down at the bottom below Cousins. I just thought he was cute, and he was really tiny, so he fit perfectly on the little circle. These little circles are probably like 1 inch, if that, so it's not taking up very much room. And I'm going to add 4 rows up and 4 rows across. The 2 rows in the middle don't actually have 4 circles because part of the photos are covering up where the circles would be anyways. But I did tuck in the ones on the left and the right so that they were peeking out, so it gives the illusion the circles go across the layout. So here I'm trying to add my circles and use my ruler. I have lost my T-square ruler again on my desk somewhere. It's clear, so it keeps getting like put in between papers and moved, and yeah, it's missing in action. So I'm back to using my metal ruler, which I really like, but I really like the T-square because then I know that it's actually straight, but it's okay. For the most part, they come out fairly straight, so it's okay. And again, I'm just adding those down. I'm going to add some sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and again, these are no longer available. But these ones here actually match perfectly with Arden Hidden Creek. So if you have these in your stash, they are called Yours Forever, or Forever Yours. Actually, yeah, I can see the label, Forever Yours. But they're blue, a navy blue, a green, a gold, and there's white little flowers in there, and then some more white like sequins. I mainly, or there's actually black too, and I pull out everything except for the round white sequins. I only pull out the flowers that are white, and I'm just going to place them around the layout. This is probably the fastest you will ever see me lay sequins down. Usually I'm like hemming and hawing and trying to figure out where I'm going to put sequins at, but I decided just to go for it, and I like the way that it turns out in the end. So I was trying to make sure there was a flower in a couple of different places around. That was the first one I laid down, was just the little white flowers. And then I added in green and blue and like a teal. It matches the teal on the paper. And then what is there? A black and then a gold. So I was trying to just put a few black ones, not too many because they're kind of heavy. Also the navy, and then the gold. So, and the gold kind of comes off as brown, so that works. That is pretty much it. I held it up so you could see it. I'm going to leave it sit here for a minute and realize I forgot to put the year on it. I want again put 2001. So yeah, he is 3. This was taken out of the same album like a couple of weeks apart. But it's so cute. I love the way that it turned out, and I would not have came up with this design without using the cherry sketch. So I'm very thankful for that. Now I'm going to go put it up, and I guess you get cherry points for also doing those sketches. I hope you enjoyed today's layout and got a little bit of inspiration how to use this kit, and I will see you in the next video. The next one is actually going to be a double page spread, and I will have a different layout up for tomorrow. Bye!